massive injury for you to come back through. You know, we've definitely in the sport seen the side effects of compartment syndrome, and then seen the Vail Clinic, how important it is for you guys too. How is this process to get back to where you are as we're a month away from the first race?
Yeah, process was kind of insane. Not anything that I was ever expecting to have to deal with. I broke my arm really bad, and then the compartment syndrome was miserable. But honestly, it's been not terrible to come back from. I was expecting more issues like with riding when I first started riding, and really it didn't bother me. My arm hasn't bothered me much, maybe once or twice since I've been back on Supercross, but obviously I went through absolute hell during like a 3 to 4 week stretch in the hospital, but other than that, it's been pretty good coming back from it. So.
How gnarly is this scar?
It's something.
Like Larry Brooks?
Yeah, I mean,
jeez.
That side is kind of gnarly. This is a lot cleaner, but I really want to get this tattooed. Like, I don't know if they can tattoo on the scar, but it like, I think it would be cool if it was silver. It'd kind of be like look like a weld. But I don't know. Going through the pain, at least you get something cool out of it, I guess.
Well, can you explain like how that process went? 'Cause obviously, like you break your arm, but what leads to that for people who don't understand what compartment syndrome is and how that works?
Yeah, so I don't know like all the specifics. I just know, so I got hurt on a Wednesday. I flew to Colorado on Thursday. We're supposed to do 2 surgeries, one on my arm, one on my collarbone. First day arm, collarbone on the second day, and first day I get the arm surgery, and I guess after he put my second plate in, it started bleeding a good bit, and then he sewed it up, and as soon as he sewed it up, it like just blew up. And so kind of watched it the next day, and leading into the collarbone surgery, he was telling me, he's like, hey, I might have to open you up. And I was like a little shocked by it. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he kind of explained, I don't remember a whole lot of the trip, just I was in and out of a lot of medicine and whatnot, but basically for the second day, second surgery, fixed my collarbone and then opened up both sides of my arm from here to here was open, and they put wound vacs in, just sucking blood and all kinds of stuff out. Like before the collarbone surgery, he took the wrap off my arm and I was able to see it, and it was probably twice the size that it is now, maybe bigger. And like if you touch just any part of my arm right here, it's like it was like touching concrete. And from what I've gathered from like other people who've had it, like good chance that you can lose feeling in your arm, like a lot of nerve issues. I think drastic situations, people have like lost limbs. But thankfully he cut it open when he did, and I had, this side was open with a wound vac for like 3 days, and then this one was 20 days, 22 days, whatever I was in there for. And they would go in and it was like, hey, we're gonna go in and pretty sure we're gonna close it today. And so they closed like just a little bit of it, and I ended up having 9 surgeries on it in the 22 days. So I think I had maybe surgery 6, I was told just before the surgery. They were like, we're closing it up, you're going home tomorrow. Like, excited. All the nurses were like pumped for me. I was pretty familiar with everyone at that point, and I remember waking up from surgery and I wasn't even like had my eyes open. I was just like, could talk to my wife, and I felt my arm and I felt the tube was still there from the pump, and I like had a complete mental breakdown, just started freaking out, crying, I just never felt like I was gonna get to leave. And so finally, like when I found out I was getting to leave, before surgery, they opened up the thing and they looked and it was like almost closed. And he was like, just be prepared, when you leave surgery today, you're going home. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was just, like there was so much that went on during that time that I just, like my wife will bring something up and I'm like, oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. It's pretty terrible. And then like, it was a little embarrassing for me to start, but I didn't really have any say in it or anything to do with it. But then when I got home, nobody had like really ever said anything to me about like the addiction process. And I think at one point I was on like 16 different medicines daily in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I was on pain medicine every 2 hours, 3 hours. And when you leave the hospital, they, you know, give you a bottle of pain pills, and they're like, okay, you should be good, you know, follow this. And so I think I'd been home for like 4 days or 5 days, and I finally got to the point where the arm didn't hurt that bad. So I was like, okay, I'll just stop taking the pain pills. So I just stopped like I would normally. And then I had to go through like a whole week of full like withdrawals, like really, really bad. Like to the point where like I'm calling doctors, like freaking out, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it was like, that was almost as bad as any of the other bits.
Wow.
So.
How many days?
Do what?
How many days in the hospital?
22 days. 22 days, and I was not allowed to leave hospital grounds because I had an IV and then the pumps. So there was like one deck that I could go out on, get some fresh air, but it snowed twice when I was there in May, which was insane for me. I thought it was pretty cool, but yeah.